All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to a valued conversation, Gen X spoken word, the late night edition. All right, so yeah, I've been taking some time getting myself straight here. Had a couple of things to do here because I'm trying to get set up so we can get a better deal here, especially once I get my DJ in place, DJ Touch. So we're still working some things out with his collaboration. But stand fast for a moment. All right, so yeah, I've been taking some time getting myself straight here. Had a couple of things to do here because I'm trying to get set up so we can get a better deal here, especially once I get my DJ in place, DJ Touch. All right, so if there's anything in the background you folks hear, let me know, just in case we got some additional noise. So, the discussion for tonight, we are going to be having a talk about Sixth Goddess, Keita Rose, and Randy. Now, I'm sure everybody here is familiar with the fallout that's been going on since we've heard about the tonight's conversation crew going at it. Now, just for the record here, there's been folks for a while now talking about Ace being a panderer, which I will also go on record and say yes. I've watched him, Derek Jackson, Yada Awakening. There's even a new guy. I can't think of his name. A white guy just came on the scene who's in the same league. If not, you swear he had a notepad from these other three guys. But anyway, as it stands here, Six the Goddess was going to be the primary bit of information that I was going to talk about based upon a show she did about a week or two ago discussing the fallout about tonight's conversation. Now, even though she was there just to have a conversation about the show and a few other things, I found it worthy that some of the conversation that Six was making was a show in and of itself. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get to that last part, as I said before, Keita and Randy have got in on the act. So, I wanted to get all three of their videos together before we look at the final video, which is Six's contribution to everything. Fair use, fair use. Before we get to that last part, as I said before, Keita and Randy have got in
On the app because me and Randolph had to handle the bitch. Why? Because she thought she was being slick in person, and then the femininity coach, she teaches women how to be feminine, started bucking up and talking like this and saying bitch back, and we was all fighting.
Now, Keita is the other one in this situation who is also currently unemployed. The same thing applies with her. How long did you think you could carry on the way you were carrying on at work and that you would still have a job? It's super interesting for me now to see Keita, throwing a fit about how she didn't get paid. But the truth is this, the same way that you felt as though y'all did not owe me basic human respect in my face, or at the very least, to just do our job and go home, the same way y'all felt like I was not owed basic human respect because of my talking points or my tone or that you don't like my content. It's crazy how karma works because now the same thing is happening where now Ace is saying that because of something that you did or said or because of however y'all interacted that you don't deserve to get paid. But see me, I'm not a hater, okay? If you did the work, you need to get paid, even though the work that you were doing was to be the pit bull for Ace. You project by calling women like me a pit bull, but I'm not on nobody's payroll to sit there and sick them on women that they bring in. The way I do my content on my page is for me and the people that like it, and there is 250,000 people who enjoy it. Now, you see how Keita, once again, when you're dealing with tall, dark skinned women, do you see how her impersonation of me was, oh, yeah, and to paint me out to be mass sit there and sick them on women that they.
All right, just to put this out here, there. So what you saw here, or what you're going to see here, is a lot of colorism that is going to be coming from Six. So apparently, Six believes that colorism is an issue between her and Keita and Randy, just based upon the fact of how they treated her. Now, I don't think color has a lot to do with anything, although if there's anything about colorism injected, I hear it primarily coming from Six because For whatever reason, she feels that because she's a tall chocolate glass of milk, everyone is jealous of her. Now, granted, yeah, Six is a good looking sister, no doubt about it. I will give her that. But I find her to be quite vain in a lot of ways. But still, I digress. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Fair use, fair use. She feels that because she's a
masculine and to paint me out to be aggressive. Now, I'm going to show you what actually happened, and we're going to break the rest of this down.
I'm making the most money.
No, I'm doing my both sides.
So what you mean?
I'm doing my both sides.
So because we're making the most money, and they're the highest rated entrepreneur. So that takes away from the fact that they're still
they got money for food.
So, but that still takes away. That takes away from the fact that that's why motherfuckers don't. That's why we don't like you, bro.
So
that's I'm so glad you said it. And it's
We're going to break the rest of this down.
making the most money.
No, I'm doing my both sides.
That's why we don't like you, bro. Now, supposedly, they had never met until that evening. Now, in another video, Six was saying that Keita and Randy had supposedly talked amongst each other or even with Ace. Basically, they'd seen some of the videos that she'd done. So they were familiar with, we'll just say they were familiar with Six's catalog. So as a result, with the viewpoint that the two of them have, it was already a thing of us against her. At least that's the way that Six was portraying it. But again, I digress. Let's go ahead and watch this whole thing fall apart here. Keep an eye on Ace. Fair use. We'll just say they were familiar with Six.
Noted. Yeah, I just met you today. I didn't know who you were before we got here. It's the cussing at me. No, baby. So this is what we have a problem. I'm gonna do. You have no control. You ain't gotta cuss at me. You ain't gotta be disrespectful. Have I respected you? Yeah. So you can do whatever you want, and then what? Then what happens? You do whatever you want. Then what's the next move? Yeah. You're not very retaliating. I have been respectful.
Now, for real, just take a look at Randy's body language. So from looking at her, she's not trying to have any type of confrontation. It's almost as if she came in there ready to throw blows with Six. Now, what we're not hearing is the question that got it all jumped off. So I'm just going to go ahead and just say it right now, but you hear it asked again in a different video. So I want to ask it now and let you guys have a moment to think about this. So the question that Ace had asked, and I may paraphrase a little bit, but the question was, does a financially insecure man find it easier to chase a big woman? Now, like I said, I'm paraphrasing, but the gist of it was that it was being presented that a man who was financially insecure would pursue a big woman instead of a fit woman. So when that question was asked of Six, hey, what do you think? Before she even let the question breathe, she said, yes, a financially insecure man will pursue a bigger woman. And that's what got it all ginned up. And it played out a little bit later. So what you're seeing now is the outcome. But more to follow. Fair use. So when that question...
I've been respectful towards you. Y'all poke the bear. Then when someone check you like, feminine, you came in here upset. Yeah, you came in here upset.
Excuse me.
The fuck? When I tried to say hi, and you had an issue because I stitched a video. It's social media.
Now, if anybody can find in that clip where I was like, oh, you bitches, a bitch ain't come out my mouth, a profanity ain't come out my mouth, okay? The very first thing that was said to me as soon as I sat down by Randy was, disrespectfully, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. Like, I literally sat down and they were like, hey, everything we're about to say to you is for the purpose of disrespect. Like, who the fuck does that? So, the correct way for them to come out my mouth, a profanity.
So if I heard correctly again, Six said they told her everything we're about to say to you is for the purpose of disrespect. And I admit, who does that type of stuff? So you have come in here ready to throw blows with me, and I have not sat down and said, hey, or want nothing. So obviously the game plan was already put together between the two of them. Fair use.
Them to handle this would be to say, and you would think, this is how you know that they're the exact type of women that I be talking about, which is why they don't like me, the way that they do fuck shit, throw rocks, hide their hands, lie, never apologize. try to do anything they can to avoid any form of accountability. Now you would think that after them both being fired, unemployed, and Keita crying online because how she gonna make her bills, you would think that they would have that moment to say, you know what? Let's reflect into the part we played into this, okay? Let's reflect. Let's not sit here and we'll just paint Ace out to the abuser and forget that we were the ones abusing guests as well because we wanted to make sure that we kept our job and we were getting paid. That would be the right way to handle it. But instead, you're doubling down and lying more. And now you're even starting rumors that I slept with Ace. Now, Keita. Now that sounds like a projection to me.
No, we talking about Six the God, the God, the goddess. And it's funny because she teaches women how to be like feminine, right? But during the episode, as we're calling her out, she and Randy start to get into it. So she's yelling, Randy's yelling. She's like, "Oh, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I don't give a fuck." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is the feminist coach." But I wouldn't be surprised if Ace ain't knock her on the couch of doom. Smash them papas. All these hoes don't like me. I'm not sure. I'd be sitting next to him. Maybe that's. Randy's yelling. She's like.
See, that's one thing that I really do not like about certain women, whereas they don't have anything else to contribute to the conversation. So I'll go ahead and just interject some nonsense. Now, she has no idea, no clue, nothing that would point at Six sleeping with Ace, but she still goes ahead and puts it in the conversation regardless. Now, as far as her talking about Six and they were yelling, what she obviously negated to say, since that was her homegirl, is that Randy started that exchange. Now, Sis, for the most part, did raise her voice, but she did not go back and forth getting all loud and as crazy as Keita and Randy did. But still, notice how she's making it seem as if Six is the problem here, when the both of them came in with an agenda. They were ready to throw rocks at this girl. Fair use. Now, Sis, for the most
Why?
part, did raise her voice, but she did not go back
So
and
I'm
forth
just gonna say this just in case, but for the record, I never slept with Ace, never would. Matter of fact, if Ace was the last man on earth and it depended on him and I to repopulate it, the human race would just have to die out, honey. So these are the self-proclaimed girls. I'm a girl's girl, but I'm going to slut shame. I'm going to lie and put bodies on women that they don't have. Women like Keita, as long as you're doing what she wants you to do, as long as you're acting the way she wants, as long as you're using the tone that she wants, oh, she'll laugh with you and kiki and all of that. And then the minute that she doesn't get her way, them the type of girls right there, they gonna tell your business the same way she been doing Kitty. People are trying to act like, oh, her and Kitty, it was a business relationship. No, their children played together. They were at each other's homes, okay? And then the minute that Kitty don't act the way she feels, because she's the master cracking that whip, and y'all blackies better listen to me. So the minute that the blackies get out of order to her, oh honey, the gloves come off. She can exploit everything. She's exploiting Ace's, SA. She's over here telling everyone, oh, Kitty's in debt. I had to buy her food. I can't stand them girls where they so cool when things going their way. But the minute you fall out, now they want to tell your business and tell everybody everything that you did for them. They're quite literally the worst type of people. I swear to you.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what that soft life is. You're a slut. Cool, cool, cool. So she was like, I don't like big women. I don't like big women because as black women, we are the ones that cook for our families. So if we're big, such and such. And so she was on live on Instagram calling fat women fluffy. You're saying you fat bitches are mad and just different things like that. It didn't really get to me because at the end of the day, listen.
Now, what you just saw there is Keita once again lying. Now,
So if we're big, such and such. And so she was on live on Instagram calling fat women fluffy.
All right, hold on, folks. So looks like suppose I've got an echo somehow that snuck in here. Stand by for a second. Hey, Fatty or SD, if you guys are still there, you hearing an echo right about now? Yeah, I'm taking a look at the settings, so I'll stand by here for a second. You want to give me a shout back? Hold up, everybody.
So you could have handled that in a simple lawsuit and got your money like that. But you have to crash out and do all this because you're angry. Because it's like, what?
All right, so I think I may have a slow connection come up, Fatty. That might be the reason why everything seems to be out of whack because I just came off mute right now. Stand by. Let me check something on the phone. I think that someone might be trying to contact me. It might be you. Hold up. All right, so I'm not sure what was going on here. Best I can tell here, I think my YouTube studio or somewhere over here muted on me, but I should be good right about now. So let's go ahead and try and kick this back off. Fair use. Hey, Fatty, I'm gonna keep you up on WhatsApp just in case I missed something here. All right. Also, chat seems good. All right, perfect. Now audio good. All right, let's roll with it.
I sold my soul for you. I was your pit bull. I was your bully. I disrespected people for you. I did all that. And then you're going to fire me and you're not going to pay me. That's why she's responding like this, y'all. And that's why, but see, once again, I ain't no hater. So I'll be the one to say she deserved to get paid. You might have told me that I didn't deserve basic human respect because of something I did. But I will say that right is right and wrong is wrong. You need to get paid because you sure was a full blown pit bull. And then there's comments like this. Once again, the colorist undertones that I be talking about. The first thing they're going to always say is masculine. Her goal the whole time was to discredit me because how dare this chocolate girl be looked at as a femininity coach? How dare she be the favorite? And that's all I'm going to say about on you, Keita, because, honey, the truth is your ex leaving and stealing your money and running off is enough punishment, honey. You don't need to be beat up on no more, honey. Especially the way your man was looking me up and down like he wanted to eat me straight out my clothes. So that's the worst.
Yo, she said, eat her out of her clothes. So anyway, you can see that there was a battle royal already going on in the background. So I don't know what it is about women once you get on that catty side that they can't even have a moment to themselves to even be civil. But ideally, starting it out, man. Yeah, Fatty. Mean Girls. Now I don't care what anyone says here, but I will go ahead and say it right now. Six is as much a mean girl as the other two, as Keita and Randy. They're all mean girls. All right. It just so happens that the actual archetype of a mean girl is more six, the pretty one. And I'll go ahead and just put that out there as the truth. Yeah, six is a good looking woman. Don't get me wrong, but she has got some habits. And one of the things that you're going to see here is that when she gives answers, it's strictly viewed strictly from a person's physical. There's no other type of information that goes with that. It seems like she's almost cavalier with her responses. But again, that was Keita's take on the issue between six and everybody. So now let's go ahead, let's take a look and see what Randy has to say. All right, fair use.
Number one. Number two, six. I didn't know who you were before you got to tonight. Number one. Number two, Six, I didn't know who you were before you got to tonight's conversation as a guest, and I don't know who you are after, so I'm genuinely confused as to why you're speaking on us, and I'm really just hoping that it's not for clout. Are you okay? Blink twice. Do you need help? You think that you're better than certain women because you look a certain way, you're aesthetically appeasing, but let me tell you.
There we go. Randy brought it up. You think you look better than everybody else. You are aesthetically pleasing. So they were already looking at how Six looked in that dress when she walked in. Now, don't get me wrong, the girl is in shape. Now, she's had a prior occupation. I'm not going to get into that right about now, but again, Six keeps herself in shape. Her information that she gives out as a femininity coach, talking about women, again, it's not for the weak. She is strong on women about taking ownership of their failures, and weight is one of those things. So if you've seen Keita, you know she's not the smallest of people, all right? And Randy, not too big at all herself, but still, Keita is her homegirl. So obviously, those two are going to unite like Voltron and get on whoever's in there that seems to get in the middle of their perspective that they present, all right? Fair use, fair use.
That energy, that attitude, that aura is disgusting. Tell them about how I ate you up for trying to be rude to women that are bigger than you, saying that they only had bottom feeder boyfriends because who would want them? The truth of the matter is you were brought into a situation to be an agitator, and you tried to actually go against black women because you don't understand anything about unity. You don't understand anything about the bigger picture, and that's very obvious. Stop speaking on me. You don't know me, and trust me, you don't want to know me. If you need a stage, maybe you can come on Let's Rant about it.
Now, that unfortunate creature is Randy. The way that y'all throw rocks and hide y'all hand need to be studied, okay? The way that y'all project your bad behaviors on others need to be looked at Harvard. Now, we're going to go over what actually happened between Randy and I, because what Keita and Randy are doing right now is they're trying to expose Ace for not being who he acts like he is. And it's all a projection because they proclaim to be like the woman's girl's girl, but they're far from that. They are the quite literal definition of what mean girls are. Now, before we get into exactly...
Funny enough, you saw if you're checking the chat out, Fatty and I threw it back and forth about Mean Girls. Now, you heard Six have the audacity to call Randy and Keita Mean Girls. Like I said before, man, Six is the original mold of what a mean girl looks like. So all of them are mean girls. Now, when it comes to taking information from anyone, I got to be honest. Six is like, I don't know if anyone remembers a basketball player by the name of Gerald Wilkins. Yeah, Gerald Wilkins was Dominique Wilkins' little brother. They both got into the NBA. So Gerald Wilkins, I think, was a shooting guard. But the thing that I remember most about Gerald Wilkins is what I'm going to say about Six right now. He could shoot you out of a game as quick as he could shoot you into one. So basically, you got good play from him at times, but then you have bad play as well. So it's like a variable. So you don't know what you're getting each time he gets out onto the floor. You just hope it's more good than bad. So this is something that I would say about the advice that Six gives. Some of it may be good, but at times it's not going to be the best product you get, all right? But stay with this because we're now getting to the point where we're going to start setting up where we're going to look at the question that she was asked and how she handles it. But fair use.
Exactly what happened and them lying on me. First, Randy, stop telling people you don't know me, okay? You've been lying like this from the second I met you. Are you not tired? I beg, okay? Do your findings. Because, girl, the lie of you don't know me is getting old, girl. Imagine you're at work and some new person comes in and you recognize them from social media and you be like, oh, I don't like their content. So in the middle of y'all employee meeting, you blurt out, that's why motherfuckers don't like you. Okay, everyone knows what would happen. You'd be fired. You'd be escorted off the premises. that would for sure be your last day there. So the way that Randy is doing this whole thing of like, oh my God, I got fired, I'm the victim, is so weird. Because how long, Randy, did you think you could treat other employees and treat people like this and you would still have a job? Roll the clip.
Let me show y'all exactly why she mad. Hold on, watch this clip because I ate her up good, Bookie Butt Butt.
True or false? When a man isn't financially confident, he tends to go for bigger women.
True.
Explain.
Yo, like I said, Six didn't even let the question breathe. Straight out asked the question. He asked the question: if a man is financially insecure, will he pursue bigger women? Yes. Or I think she said true. Without any other thought. That's the trigger right here. But keep watching. Fair use.
Because you have to look at when I say go for, I mean, I would think the same way. Like if it's a woman who is saying, okay, who can I get something out of? She might choose the guy who might seem more lame, like women don't really approach him. I think people in our nature are predatory in a way, like when we're looking to gain.
Also, I'm going to have a look at this predatory comment she always wants to throw out here by saying people are predatory. Now, I want to make it clear here, Six is not a doctor of any sort, no type of training, social sciences, nothing, but she uses a lot of words to include, also want to say this has been scientifically proven, but keep that on the back burner as well. Fair use.
Something, we tend to look for who would be most likely. So to me, if I'm a guy, I just got out of jail, I got probation fees, I need somewhere to stay, I'm not going to go for a woman who works out 5 days a week and looks good. I'm going to go for the bigger girl. I'm going to say, there's more of a chance that she'll be willing to compromise because deep down inside, she feels like maybe she has to compensate for the lack of the aesthetics.
That's deep.
Now, I'm just going to say that is just some straight stupidness, all right? Because again, if I've got bills and things, I've just got out of jail and I need cash. Now, if I'm a decent looking dude, why am I going to be chasing after some big girl who might not have the cash flow that I need to get me out of this? And if this fit girl's in shape, as Six is making it out to be, if she's all about this, now, if I'm a dude who's confident in my game, why would I not try and get the attractive girl, especially if that's the type of preference that I have? But again, this is just the logic that Six is just spitting with no consideration of anything else.
Respectfully, that's probably the most ignorant shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. So you think because a woman is plus size or out of shape that her mental and what she accepts in life and what she should be expected to accept in life is less than because
Yeah, because
you're in
look what
shape?
she accepts for herself.
Now that clip was edited. In the clip she said, oh, respectfully, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. But in reality, she looked me dead in my eyes and she said, disrespectfully, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. And she decided that she could say all of this about me because of the 1 minute response I gave, because according to her, she had never heard of me a day in her life before. So a woman that you don't know can come in, be asked a question, answer the question, and it warrants all of this. That was all it took. It's giving, we're not buying it, Randy. This was too much energy for it to not be something deeper. And I know that you project in your video, so I'm thinking it was like are you the one that's jealous? Okay, because I noticed a few things, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Now, of course, Six is going to have her musings about why she thinks she got jumped on the way she did. But in Six's defense, she didn't come in there for a fight. Now, of course, granted, the answer that Six gave was as nonsensical as anything. Now, remember, I just said she's like Gerald Wilkins, or I think Fatty up there. Fatty says she's like J.R. Smith, but it's still pretty much the same here. Is that A broken clock can be right, what, 2 times a day? 2 times a day, you get some good information, or you'll get some bad information, or you split it 50-50. Again, I think that 6 is very shallow, conceited, and arrogant. Now, there's one thing about keeping your appearance up. I understand that. But to overlook preferences that people may have for the belief that, well, if you had money, you'd probably do better. But if you're broke, yeah, you're just going to go ahead and just go for the bigger woman. There's no consideration being given to that individual who is broke. Again, what if he's 6 feet? What if he's got a face card? He's in shape or something like that. Now, if this guy is all that supposedly, do you still think because he's broke, he's going to pursue a larger woman just because he's out of cash? No, absolutely not. Because when you stop and think about it, and this is what I said before, 6's commentary is just nonsensical, because what she did not give any consideration to is, again, if this dude is about anything and looks like something, he is going to go ahead and make a play for the prettiest girl out there, regardless of not having his money, because we've all seen this done. How many times have we seen this hood dude running around with a certified dime piece? Got no cash to his name, but he's driving her car, laid up in her apartment, getting a little bit of cash flow from her. Now, I'm surprised your 6 as a femininity coach didn't even stop and think about that, because in many ways, what she's throwing out there is a straight contradiction. So again, remember, the question was, will a financially insecure man pursue a larger woman? She said yes, or again, it was a true false question, but nonetheless, 6 believes that a man who doesn't have any cash flow is going to pursue a larger woman because that's what he can get, supposedly. Well, maybe I can get something out of her. She gave no consideration to what if this guy was 6'2", 6'3", above average looking, or a good looking dude nonetheless, and therefore having those things in his corner, he's confident he may walk up and talk to that pretty girl who's in shape, who works out, and who's got money. And depending upon what her mood is at that point in time, he may be able to slide through. And this is a conversation that we've had on multiple panels. So for 6 to sit here and make that airheaded statement, okay, I can see why Randy bucked up, and also why Keita jumped in. But nonetheless, that's just 6's mentality, because she's about her cash. You don't have cash, you can't rock with her. All right, so fair use. Let's get back into it.
Let me first show you all the rest of what happened. And it kind of makes the clip I just showed you that she stitched even more weird, because it's like, girl, this girl didn't bother you. Y'all came and did this to me, and now you're making this like these antagonistic responses like, oh, let me show y'all why 6 mad. She mad because I disrespected her to her face. Yes, bitch. What the fuck? Of course. Let me show y'all the rest.
Making the most money.
I know I'm doing my both sides.
So what you mean?
I'm doing my both sides.
So because we're
making the most money, and they're the highest rated entrepreneur.
So that takes away from the fact that they're still.
They got money for food.
So, but that still takes away. That takes away from the fact that that's why motherfuckers don't. That's why we don't like you, bro.
So
that's why we
I'm so
don't like
glad
you.
you said it, and it's noted.
Yeah, I just met you today. I didn't know who you were before we got here.
No, stop cussing at me. It's the ignorance. Cussing at me.
It's the ignorance and the lack of knowledge.
No, baby. So this is what we have problems.
I'ma do
You have no knowledge. You ain't got to cuss at me. You ain't got to be disrespectful. Have I disrespected you?
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want.
So at this point in time, this is when Ace Metaphor knew he'd effed up. So Ace has completely lost control of the whole session as of right now. So he and the fellas, they're just there. The girls have no damn about who else is in there. They are getting it on. Okay, it's getting in right about now. Fair use.
Then what happens? You do whatever you want. Then what's the next move?
Yeah.
You're not being very retaliated, right? I have been respectful. I have been respectful towards you. Y'all poke the bear. Then when someone check your experiment, you came in here.
Yo, look at Trip. No, I don't know if this is one of the moments where Keita wasn't saying anything, or maybe it's just because I've got it paused. But look at Trip, and Ace is sitting there like, God damn. He just sat there like an idiot. Now I don't know if this was on purpose or not. Yeah, Fatty, I couldn't say, man. I just know that when I saw Ace give an interview to Obsidian about a year or so ago, before Obsidian got removed from YouTube, Ace said that at this moment he's like, yeah, man, that episode was just like a dud. There was nothing I could do except just sit there because I was just flustered and taken back by myself watching what was going on. So yeah, that was a dud, man. It just happened. And they both laughed at it, and that was it. So we can all laugh at it right now as well. There you.
Upset, yeah, you came in here upset.
Excuse me.
The fuck? When I tried to say hi, then you had an issue because I stitched a video.
Now, Keita and Randy are currently going around social media calling me aggressive, saying that I was yelling at them, calling them all type of bitches, and I got so masculine. But as I said before, as a dark-skinned tall woman, I am so used to that. Anytime someone gets into it with me, especially if it's someone significantly lighter complected than me, I'm always going to get, labeled as the aggressor. When you're a tall woman, they're always going to say, oh, you're manly. Oh, you deserved it because of this and that. It goes back into like what's going on with Megan Thee Stallion, where they felt like, oh, because of what she did, she deserved.
All right, now here's where the tone starts to change. All right, so this is where Six will now start bringing things and focusing back on her and saying, it's because I'm this. It's because I'm that. She's now going to start focusing on that all these other women are jealous because I'm tall and I'm chocolate. And that's what they hate. They just can't hate to see a chocolate girl winning. Now, notice if anything about colorism is brought up, as I have said in the beginning, and I will continue to say in regards to Six is the one who brings up issues about colorism. I haven't heard anyone else say anything about it except her. Check it out. Fair use.
Deserve to be shot at. That's literally how they did me. And colorism is a microaggression, which is what that was. They sat there and antagonized me and ganged up on me and disrespected me for no reason. And in their mind, it was okay. And if you pay attention to what Randy said, she's like, where's the femininity? That translation is, I hate that anyone likes this girl. I hate that this girl is helping anyone. And I want to try to discredit her. So I'm going to disrespect her in her face. And then I'm going to say, look how aggressive she is. Okay, it's a story all this time. And is it just me or something don't sit right in my spirit about someone that looks like this with a preference?
All right, here we go. Put your seatbelts on.
Like this and children like this, always making comments like the ones I'm about to show you, and her sidekick, Batman and Robin, Anastasia and Drizella, I'm noticing a common denominator with all the women y'all tend to have an issue with and try to humiliate and bully. Let's examine. So y'all have a problem with me in my chocolatey glory. Who else do y'all have a problem with? Oh my. So there was aggressive.
Boom. There it is. And all of her chocolatey glory. Now, all I saw up there were black women who had no couth. That's what I saw. But of course, now there's got to be the shade issue about the black women. All right, fair use.
There goes that word. Interactions with her too. Hey, fellow chocolate girl. Hey, girl, hey. Who else? Oh, this one right here had y'all sick. Keita can't even say this girl's name. We might as well change Kitty's name to y'all favorite Kitty. So the real truth is, y'all don't like seeing the chocolate girls win. You don't like seeing the chocolate girls get more attention than you. But y'all really need to find a better way.
Again, when did it get to be about chocolate girls? When did it get to be a thing about the difference of color between black women in this moment right here? So she just pulled something else out of the ether that had nothing to do with anything. But again, as I said before, um, six is she's shallow and she's vain, she's conceited, and she's hella arrogant. And she's proven that right about now. Well, let's go ahead and take a couple more moments here to finish this out here.
Way to deal with that than these outbreaks, okay? These outbursts and attacking us. Honey, it's okay. I understand that you mad, but how long can this go on, girl? So weird comments like this are also strange. This, you still gonna stick by the fact that you had no problem and you don't know who I am. This is highly personal. Like, you're very invested in this. Anyway, Randy ends up lying to Ace, saying that she apologized to me, but she never did. Now she's running around talking about how she's more depressed than she's ever been. It's like, sweetie, you're depressed because you've been doing wrong. You've been doing wrong. You haven't apologized. You haven't made it right. And you know deep down inside you're wrong from how you've been acting, okay?
And then, of course, she's going to take that scolding tone, almost, dare I say, just patronizing. But again, there you go. So you saw that there was an exchange between Keita and Six. Then, of course, there was Randy and Six, and her giving her version of how everything went down. So the one thing again to take out of this between those two exchanges, which all came from the same show, it all started because of the fact that Six and Fatty even said so, and I see it as well. She prioritizes money. So therefore, a man who is financially insecure or supposedly is a man that, well, I'm not going to give any props to, I'm not going to talk to because you're broke. Now, the fact that this guy could be a good looking dude at a certain height or whatnot, and confident in his game, he's still going to pursue what he likes. It's called preferences. So if he likes a woman built like Six and he doesn't have any money, chances are in his mind, okay, I got the game. I got the Midas touch. All right. I'm gonna go over here and talk this girl up. If she tells me no, then I'll go find another girl that fits the type of build that I like and I'll talk her up. Six gave no thought to that whatsoever. If you're broke, you're probably just going to go get a big girl because that's all that you can afford, which is nothing because she may have low self esteem. She's not about anything. So you two go together. Where does that even come into play, right? All right. So let's go ahead and jump to the main video here that I want everyone to see. So again, this video that we're going to take a look at right now was Six a couple of weeks ago being asked to come on and give her take about the breakdown of the Tonight's Conversation crew. So this interview was about an hour and some change, hour and a half. So we're not going to go through this entire video, but I should hope that the basis of everything should have been formed now. All right, so Six is real cavalier about her answers. All right, she's again conceited, she is arrogant, and she is shallow. I'll reiterate that. Now you're going to see more of that shown through here right now. All right, fair use.
When a man is not financially confident, does he go for a bigger woman? And I said, yes. I said, because humans in general are predatory. Children are predatory. Have you ever seen a child be with one person?
Yeah, the audio is down for that. So let me back that up again and play it over. Hold up. All right, so she's going to talk about the question that Ace had asked her. So this is where things start out right here, and we get into the show.
Ace comes forward and says, the question, which was, when a man is not financially confident, does he go for a bigger woman? And I said, yes. I said, because humans in general are predatory. Children are predatory. Have you ever seen a child be?
All right, so let me just lop that off right there. This is one of the things I was talking about, her just talking crazy, coming out and saying that children are predatory, right? So she's going to say this a few more times to include saying that this is scientifically proven. So just to nip this in the bud, let's go ahead and just jump over to one of the other slides I've got to the side here. All right, so I'm sure everybody can see the same thing that I can. Human children are not born predatory. This statement is accurate. Human children are not born predatory, meaning they do not have an innate instinct to harm or prey on others. Instead, their social and moral behaviors develop over time through learning and interaction with their environment, making them dependent on caregivers for survival in their early stages, also known as nature versus nurture. So I say again, this girl is just throwing stuff off the top of her lip. I don't know anybody else who would make such a casual statement. You know what? I lied, Princella. All right, now I say this only because of the fact that my qualifications are in social sciences. But staying on track here, no, children are not born predatory. Fair use.
With one person and act a fool, but then they get with someone else and be like, oh, I can take advantage of this person. Then they act like an idiot. All humans are predatory. We're born that way. It's a survival thing. Humans naturally will seek where they can compete and win. That's the way it goes. So we're not gonna, I'm not a we are the world type of person. I'm a very realistic person. People are predatory, absolutely. So yes, if a man is not confident in himself financially, you know, people don't understand. It's literally a scientific thing. It has been quite literally scientifically proven that when a man is hungry.
All right. You see, there we go again. What has been scientifically proven? It has not in the stage that she is presenting it. I honestly don't know where she's getting this from, other than just what fits her narrative. All right. Fair use.
Or when a man is poor, in his subconscious mind, he will decide to go for a woman that's bigger. You have all, it could also be according to where you are geographically, because you have some people that say, well, I know men that have lots of money and their wife is big. And I'm like, yeah, in Mississippi, a man that got rich off farming in Alabama, because he needed a big bitch to pull that plow. He needed a big bitch to help round him them horses. Can't have no skinny girl in there. How you got a baby to pull that truck? You know what I'm
saying? And there it is. Her shallowness, her conceit, her arrogance in full glory, to include a cavalier presentation about it. This is your femininity coach, ladies. Fair use.
saying? So you got to understand why in the country, why you see men with bigger women. She got to pull the plow, baby. We need help. We got farmland. Where when you go to Manhattan, the men have smaller wives. Why? Because you won't be able to fit at dinner between the tables in the small New York upscale restaurants.
Yo. What do you say about this, right? I mean, none of this is scientifically proven at all. This is just Six's way of dealing with anything because of the fact she prioritizes money. And yes, I like women to be in shape. Don't get me wrong. She's harsh about it. Should shaming play a part in certain actions? Debatable, depending on who you talk about. But just listening to this right now, again, I don't mind if I were overweight being told, hey, you're overweight, but here, let's do something about it. But then to come up with some type of narrative about why I'm overweight and it's where I'm from, okay, nah, you're just talking crazy now. Fair use.
every man chooses based upon where he lives and what he's doing. But see, the problem is people like Keita and Randy, the reason I knew we weren't going to jail is because they make their living off of telling mediocre women that they're better than what they are, that they deserve things they haven't worked for, that everything else is someone else's fault. Every time you turn around, Keita and Randy are making videos like, yes, and know your worth. If you sat and poured into that person and they did not pour into you, that is their fault. And you need to know your worth. And shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Just shut up. But that's what people seek. I don't want to seek someone who tells me I ain't shit, who tells me what I'm doing wrong. No, I want to go where I am comforted, to be where I'm a lazy, undisciplined person. And I want to go, who's going to tell me that I can do the less work? So Keita and Rennie, they're there for you. They are there for you every time you ain't shit, to sit and tell you that it's someone else's fault and to be so blind to your own problems. The way that they have so much content like about mean girls and mean friends, it is such a projection because they're the main, mean girl. So seeing everything happening with the show falling apart now, it simply makes sense to me because energetically, this is what's going to happen. It's a bunch of male and female hyenas that are going to do what eventually? Eat each other.
All right, so remember now where I said that there's a point in time where Six does talk sense. So she was talking a little bit of sense there at that point in time, although it was a narrow window, but she was talking that. Now, as I said before, she goes back and forth. She's consistently inconsistent, but she did make a statement about how you have hyenas where they all eat each other. But what she seems to be forgetting here is that in the hyena clan, the female sits on top. If there are any males in there, they are directly at the bottom. So even if there are girl hyenas in that clan or in that pack, they sit higher than males. Now, when I say hyenas, I'm talking about the behavior that was in the interaction between Sixth, Randy, and Keita. I would put more of the hyena behavior on those two. Now, I've got an acronym for that, for hyena. It's basically um, hateful, yieldless, egotistical, nauseating, and adversarial. And that's what Keita and Randy came to do right from the beginning. All right. They came there ready to jump at her. So it looks like almost at the hour mark. So let me do this. So, like I said, it's a long video, but obviously up here you can see where you can go on YouTube if you want to check the whole thing out yourself, right? The last thing I'm going to say, I think, is dark skin commentary. Now, if I did miss that, let me take the time to tell you guys that you did have Six sticking up for is it Kitty? I believe the dark skinned sister, I believe her name is Kitty. Now she definitely will stand up for her dark skinned women. Now that's what Six is all about, standing up for the dark skinned sisters. So Kitty is a dark skinned sister. And again, there's the dark skin conversation that you heard Six talk about when it comes to that colorism. Oh, they just don't like that chocolate girl getting ahead. Oh, in my chocolatey glory. All right, that is that colorism thing that's being brought in there. And you saw in the previous video where Six was saying that any beef that Keita and Randy had, they were having it with dark skinned women. So there's a comment that she said that was as outlandish as everything else that she said regarding children being predatory, being born predatory, and all humans being predatory. All right. So let's take a look at this. Fair use. So I backed it up a little bit, but we should roll right into it. You should get some of the context from her before we get directly into her talking about the sexual disposition of dark-skinned women.
In his seat at the chocolate girl. It's given that, and that's the girl that their audience love. The girl that they audience love is clearly so freaking colorist. Not a.
By the way, the girl's girl, or your favorite, they're referring to Kitty, by the way.
Girls girl at all. The things they're doing to Kitty, I think, are very disgusting. I don't give a damn. Kitty, most women who are well spoken and knowledgeable are freaky. You know what I'm saying? So Kitty freaky. I knew she was freaky. You can tell by the way she talks, she freaky. You know.
Well spoken women are freaky. Everybody knows that. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just pull up right about here. There's so much you can listen to, right? But I hope that I've gotten the message across here when we're talking about Six the Goddess and the information she gives and what she does as a femininity coach, but more so just taking a look at her commentary and her thought process. So, was she in the wrong for what she said at tonight's conversation? Again, you can take that as debatable. She answered as best as she could based upon how she saw things. Now, that was just her opinion. Doesn't make it right, doesn't mean it is right. But from folks who don't share that opinion, which is in Six's mindset, a financially insecure man is going to pursue a big, overweight woman. That's for whatever reason, that's how she sees it because of the fact that she has a good shape about herself and she thinks all women need to be in good shape. I agree. We should be healthy, we should be in good shape, but Six will negate certain things for her narrative. Outlandish as it is, but so be it. Well, anyway, folks, we're sitting right at that hour mark. So I want to thank anyone who was able to join the show for a little bit, riding through. Appreciate it. Fatty, Drobanot, guys, thanks for jumping in where you could. I appreciate that. Also, Fatty and SD, thanks again for letting me know when things were getting a little bit behind with the audio. I appreciate that. Last but not least, find somebody who knows somebody to tell somebody about what I've got going on. If you like it, let me know. Share this if you do, and subscribe if this is what you're looking for. Once again, John Henry, high earner, not rich yet. Thanks for joining me, and I appreciate you for having this conversation. We'll talk again soon. Peace.